Next up, we've got Mike in China. Mike, welcome to the United States, at least for a little while.
Hey, how you doing, Michael?
All right,
Michael.
how are you?
Michael,
Awesome.
are you really in China?
Yes, this is Mike, and I'm in Shenzhen, China. It's about an hour from Hong Kong.
This is indeed an honor having you on the show.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to talk to you, Dr. Rand. And I actually am in the middle of an English class here in China, so I have students here, and we're going to, yes. And so we're going to ask a question, and the question is really,
love to.
the question is really two. One, what race of people do you see, or is there any associated with the planet X? And when might we be able to see this very well in China?
Okay, two very, very good questions. Let's take the last one first. It is now being reported, being seen in the southern hemisphere, up or around the tip of Argentina, looking towards the Antarctic circle. You see? I'm giving you a general direction. Now, it should be seen within the next 6 to 9 months, I believe, throughout Asia, which would then take in China.
Perfect.
Now, you're probably going to need a special telescope or certainly have some kind of an infrared structure to your telescope, because it's very faint. You'll see it,
okay,
but you need definition, you see. Now,
right.
I'm not sure. Can you give me some locate? I'm going to get to the other question. Where specifically can you give me a rough idea of where you are in China? China is huge.
Yes, we're on the coast, and we're in Shenzhen. If you know where Hong Kong is, we're just about an hour north of Hong Kong.
All right, let me ask you this. How close are you to the water?
Oh, very close. Maybe 10 miles.
10 miles. Well,
that's close.
You're too close.
Too close?
Yeah, just a little.
Yeah, you're too close. Listen.
Yeah, and
nothing. Listen. God forbid, God help us. There will be nothing that will happen. But if we do get a major world shaker, and it's possible, see, I'm not taking the cards off the table, everybody. I'm just saying I'm going on the positive side. I think we're just going to have an increase in storms for the next year and a half, and I think we're going to avoid a major earthquake scenario. Unless I've been noticing a trend in earthquakes going into the Middle East. Now, let's say, hypothetically, that it's nearing the end of 2014, and the Iranians are ready to go, and we all know it, but we're all afraid to push the button because we know when it'll start, and all of a sudden, a huge earthquake rocks the entirety of Iran, and that's that.
I would find that suspicious.
Would you?
I would. I would find that very suspicious.
How conspiratorial of you.
I know.
Well, wouldn't it be funny if it actually happened?
Well, I don't know how funny it would be, but...
Well, I meant funny by circumstance. I'm sorry, I wasn't being sarcastic.
Well, you know, I get corrected a lot, Dr. Rand. They'll send me a message and say, "So you think that's funny, eh?" You know?
No, I'm not trying to be funny or facetious. I'm only saying that I know how serious all of this is, and kind sir and dear students, I still got to answer that second question. You're a little close for my comfort zone, but I think that the good Lord, in whichever manifestation He is there with you, He will keep you safe. Now, let me rephrase that first question again. Not rephrase, but say it again.
Okay. First question was, do we have, or what are your thoughts on what race of beings would be associated with Planet X?
Okay. The easiest way to answer that is to go back to the Bible and a race of beings called the Anunnaki. Okay, now, these were the men of giants that supposedly mated with the maidens of Earth. They did that. They did a no-no. That wasn't very nice. It was probably forcible. Now, they've always been associated with a planet called Nibiru, Nibiru, Nibiru. Now, Nibiru is also in legend and in history and in archaeology believed, and astronomy believed, to be one of the original 12 planets in our solar system. I think we need to swing into a little cosmology here, okay? Real quick, students.
Okay.
Are you up for that? I'm working on your question.
Yes. Yes. They say yes.
All right, let's go. All right. Let's jump back 4.5 to 5 billion years ago, everybody. Just in your imaginations. Way back past the dinosaurs. They hadn't even been done yet. To when there were 12 planets in our solar system. There was no asteroid belt. And there were 3 suns in our multi-star system. 3 stars. Well, why don't I? What do you mean? I don't see any other stars. Well, first of all, we believe that there is a large blue-black giant, so hot it's cold, star, several billion miles from here, which is not a lot of space. It's not a lot of space. No. Tiny. But we can't see it. We believe that it controls our sun called Sol, the sun we wake up to every day. And it goes down every night. Sun doesn't really go down, the Earth rotates. And there was this 3rd star, a little baby star. Well, kind of a baby star. The star was probably the size of Saturn, but 60 times its mass. So everybody follow me now. If you've got pens and papers, write words down like what mass and 60 times. This is one big Bertha. You know what that means in English? Big Bertha? Big. Okay. 60 times the mass of Saturn and about its size. And it was about to become a full-fledged secondary baby star to our system. And it was thought that at some point that little star would be deployed out into the depths of the solar system to light the planets going back. See how brilliant the concept might have been? Now, about 4.5 to 5 billion years ago, all the archaeology and legend and all of the mysteries of the planet suggest that a large planetary-sized foreign object came slicing through deep space, right through what's known as the plane of the ecliptic of our solar system, and I'll explain what the plane of the ecliptic is. But before I do that, I want to make it clear that everything in our solar system, all the suns, I said all the suns, the moons, the present-day asteroid belt, all the planets, they all rotate around the sun in a counterclockwise motion. Very important, everybody. Write that down. In a opposite rotation to what we know was known as clockwise rotation. Exact opposite. Now, the sun also rotates in a counterclockwise, as do all the other sun systems and their planets and moons and asteroid belts, and all of the stars in the known extent of our galaxy called the Milky Way. They all rotate. Everything inside the Milky Way itself rotates in a counterclockwise motion. Now, why is this important? Because anything that comes through or against the accepted rotation of the Milky Way galaxy causes a lot of disturbance and problems. And that's why stars collide and you have plasma bursts. It gets very complicated. But space is not complicated. It's very black and white. You go against the flow, you got a big problem. So about 4.5 to 5 billion years ago, a giant piece of space rock, huge, planetary size, pick a planet, came smashing through the plane of the ecliptic. Now what is that? The next time you go to an observatory or a place of astronomy, on the wall, you'll probably see a depiction of the plane of the ecliptic, where you see the sun in the center, and you see all the planets in their proper rotation and in their proper positioning, and you'll see the asteroid belt. And you'll notice that it all flows in a counterclockwise motion. Because 4.5 to 5 billion years ago, this piece of space junk, a planet, whatever, asteroid, smashed through against the flow, against the grain of the solar system, which is counterclockwise, which meant that whatever it hit head on. Like, can you imagine two huge freight trains racing at each other at 100 miles an hour? Can you imagine the force of the impact? Same thing, planetary objects, only it's greatly exaggerated by forces such as gravity and magnetism. And I don't want to go off the deep end. Is everybody following me?
Yes.
Yes,
No one's
sir.
I haven't lost any of it. Right?
No, we're here.
All right, good. Now, when this object came in, there was no asteroid belt. There were 12 planets. One was called Marduk. One was called Plato. One was called Nibiru. And there were several others. 12 total. When this object came through, by the time it got done, it had wiped out at least 3 planets, head-on collisions with them. And what created the present-day asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter is the fact that it hit Marduk. Marduk was a large, extremely large, probably the size of Saturn, but it was a rocky planet out on the edges of the solar system. It hit it, knocked it inside the solar system, and where it broke up and came to pieces is now the present-day asteroid belt.
Wow.
Marduk is, in fact, the asteroid belt, or what's left of Marduk. Other pieces of Marduk smashed into Earth, which probably caused this, they called it the subcontinent of Pangaea. Way back 4.5 to 5 billion years ago, There was just one huge landmass, and I mean huge. Ancients called it Pangea. You might want to write that down and look it up. Pangea. Pangea. I-A-E-A. When this object came through, it hit Earth, breaking up the landmass to what is now today the continents. It probably carved out part of the Earth that created the Moon, contrary to thoughts that the Moon is synthetic. It's not. It's not cheese either. It's real. Another piece hit Mars. There is a terrible, terrible scar on the southern backside, low side of Mars. It's a big bulge, half a planet size. It's believed a huge piece hit Mars head on. You see, Mars, Venus, Mars, and Earth had life and water. Venus, Earth, and Mars had forests. There were three types of experimental planets that were designed by some intelligence force that created all the other planets and put the sun in charge, and then figured out that the big black blue giant out deep in space would control the sun and everything that she controls. And then you had the little baby sun. And here's where we get back to Planet X. And here's where the story begins to come together. Because Planet X was known by 100 destructive names through at least 900 centuries of human record, as far back as that. It appears that as this object came careening into the interior of the solar system, don't forget, it hit things on the outer ridges, outer edges of the solar system, worked its way forward, probably traveling something like 1,000 miles a second. Can you imagine, everybody, traveling at 1,000 miles a second?
Very
Just
fast.
like that. 1,000 miles. Now, that's how space is. So when this object came through, hit Earth, killed Mars. Mars had a beautiful atmosphere, and it struck Venus a death blow. She was just getting ready to give birth to an internal kind of fusion system. It was an experimental thing. I know it sounds way out there, guys. Just read history and go back and research. Everything I said is true. A lot of this is in my book, by the way. The Return of Planet X, everybody. You can get it on Kindle. You can get it on ebook. You can get it in softcover. Lots of illustrations. Okay. Then, as it was flying towards the center of the sun, where it would have been, of course, consumed by the sun, it collided head-on with our little baby sun, the size of Saturn, but 60 times its mass, that was already beginning to go into fusion. And when it hit it with such force and killing power that it killed its fusion system, turning it immediately into a smoldering, fiery mass, and cast it 180 degrees out of its counterclockwise orbit into a clockwise orbit away from the solar system. It sent it out on a 3,600-year round trip, oblong, very narrow trajectory out toward the blue-black sun, which controls the sun and everything that the sun controls. And does everybody remember what happened to Apollo 13 of the U.S. space program? On the way, they were supposed to make a landing on the moon, and they had a serious malfunction. There was an explosion in one of the oxygen tanks, and it destroyed a large part of their oxygen to get back in electrical power. They had to abort the moon mission. But in order to get back to Earth, there's a reason I'm going here, is that their spacecraft, their space capsule, had to come up and complete its mission around the moon so that it could be slingshotted with the interaction of the moon's gravity back to Earth, sending it through space back to Earth like a giant rubber band would do. Well, that's what they had to do. That's what happens with the little baby sun. It's cast back out into space on its 3,600-year, very narrow, oblong trajectory. Now it's cast out in a counterclockwise motion, which comes up and around. Now it's in the reverse field. And now it's going to go back to the blue-black star, where it'll be sucked in and then cast out from the blue-black star to again begin its 3,600-year, sometimes more, 36 to 3,800 years, there's been records of it, trip back to the solar system. Now, what's it do? A lot. A lot. It takes 1,800 years once it leaves being slingshotted from behind the sun. See, we're just now seeing it because it's still in the near glare of the sun. By the way, don't anybody do not look at the sun with your bare eyes, please. I gotta constantly tell people that. You cannot see this object with your eyes. You cannot see it. You'd have to have special lenses, and you'd have to have an infrared telescope to see it. It's getting closer. Right now, it's too far out there yet. And it won't be clear of our system till around the end of 2014, going into 2015. That's why I said earlier in the show, this ain't over until it's over. Hopefully, it won't get any worse than it is. But it's getting worse, and worse, and worse. Once again, it's not a show about doom and gloom, everybody. What just happened, really, ladies and gentlemen out there, that really happened to us here in the United States. The devastation is so great they haven't even been able to figure it out yet. Okay.
That's right.
Let's talk a little bit more about Planet X. It comes back periodically. It's been coming back for billions of years. All these cataclysms, everything. It's all part of a grand program way beyond our understanding, way beyond our comprehension to control, and way beyond our spiritual content to really understand properly. There are good extraterrestrials and there are bad extraterrestrials. Just like there's good guys here and bad guys here. There's good angels, from Scripture, and there are bad angels, Luciferian angels, assuming you have a spiritual, religious nature about you, because I'm talking about Christian concepts. I'm not alluding to any other than what I'm familiar with. Okay? Now, if there is a spirit world, we better be aware of it, because supposedly the Holy Spirit guides us. The Holy Spirit, God's Spirit guides us, is in each and every one of us. And then we're supposed to have, I'm going back, into the, almost the Catholic thing. By the way, I'm a former Catholic from Irish Catholic school, so I know my stuff, guys. They beat it into you. They really do, with thick pointers. I can tell you from experience. Okay. If there is a Holy Spirit, and if we do have a guardian angel, well then, we better start communicating at a different level. I've actually learned how to pray again. I guess that's an admission I shouldn't say publicly, but I'm proud of it. I've learned how to say my prayers at night, and I'm learning how to pray over my meals. Because you never know when the last one will be. You never know. You know, that kind of stuff. And I'm feeling a lot better about things. I'm feeling a lot more in control. I'm assuming I'm talking to the right spiritual entities and the good Lord, because things are going okay. You know, in the midst of everything, I'm still okay. You know, not perfect. And I'm grieving for all those that are in harm's way right now. Now, Planet X. Can we do anything about it? Not really. You see, it's been coming in from deep space, approaching the sun, since about 1981, when it was first detected. It's been changing things on this planet all these years. If you care to look up the earthquake stats, I did this, by the way, in the book. I ran a series of earthquake stats, hurricane stats, solar storm stats, all these kind of things to show the reader that, yes, a lot of this is cyclical, but then again, a lot of it is extremely unpredictable. You see? You can't tell from time to time. I can tell you that we are very fortunate in that the Earth, its present position in its trajectory around the sun, being as we are now approaching the winter solstice, is that we are the furthest distance, or nearly the furthest distance will ever be from this object. That's good. It's enough that this object is affecting the sun, which is greatly affecting the Earth. That's what all this weather instability is all about. And there may be some of this steering, but I will tell you this. These storms don't need to be steered, okay? I'm just not going to jump into that one right now, okay? I don't want to go there.
Okay. We got a break coming up in a few minutes, Dr. Rand.
All right. Well, then let's do this. Kids, study about Planet X. Just go up on the Internet. You'll find 1,000 websites. A lot of it's not true. A lot of it is, I don't know, to sell stuff. A lot of it is true. You have to sift through the good, the bad, and the ugly. Little Clint Eastwood deal, movie. It's all out there for you to investigate, and I encourage you to do so. But do it with an open mind. You don't have to believe everything you read or uncover, but well, I always say where there's smoke, there's usually a lot of fire. And if this object now becomes focalized after the election, see, I think that they're waiting until after the election to announce it. And I can't fault that. Why do you want to disrupt the election? You follow me? Now, me talking about it is not like announcing it to the world. I just happen to think that we know what's coming. That's all. We've been right. We've been right more times than we've been wrong so far, and we've been right on with the book.
Let me ask you this, Dr. Rand. Do you think that the current or next president will announce this? I'm asking you because it's a question I get from a lot of people. And if not our president, will one of the others around the world make a formal announcement of this?
Well, if we're smart and we want to start assuming the lead in the world, we will step forward. We will make the announcements. We will set all the directives up. You see, this is when they could initiate martial law, when they make the announcement, so that everybody doesn't freak out. You see? Now, that's just one scenario. I'm not suggesting that. I am not predicting. I'm saying that if there is a major natural disaster, so let's say there is a global earthquake and we lose a couple cities, that would be enough for them to trigger. God forbid we lose an American city. They trigger martial law. And that triggers a whole bunch of new scenarios. People are saying, yeah, and there goes one world government, one world currency, United Nations of America, and all this other stuff that you're hearing. Now, we are in for some very perilous and very dangerous times. not only from Mother Nature, but from humanity itself. We're all out of control. Whoever's in that White House better be in control, because it could suddenly get out of hand. Now, my only thinking is that NASA can't keep covering this up forever. Incidentally, I can't give you any names. I spent last weekend with an astrophysicist astronomer who I found out was a distant cousin of mine, and she works at the Haleakala Telescopic Institute in Hawaii. Her astrophysics major is atmospheric conditions on all the planets. That's her specialty.
They're all changing.
Yes. Now, I'm not gonna give away any names or anything, but this is one bright, intelligent, very attractive woman who I had the greatest respect for, and I sat across from her over a cup of tea Saturday morning, because we wound up sharing. My uncle died. My distant uncle to my Aunt Helen died, 91 years old, well-respected man. They live on like 150 acres with their own lake and pond and deer and a beautiful estate. And the house is probably $2.5 million. Anyway, I was their guest there. Luther, the husband, died, leaving Aunt Helen. Aunt Helen is 82 and she's in great shape. Anyway, we were all house guests, captured for 3 days for the funeral and for the wake. So I got a chance to talk to her. And I sat and I asked her point blank. I took out a copy of my book and I laid it on the table and I said, has NASA ever heard of Planet X before? And she looked at me like a deer, wounded deer in the headlights. She said, no, I've never heard of it. And I said, are you sure? I said, and then I hit her with the press release and I pointed to the book. She goes, oh, that's interesting. I'm not making fun. And then I brought up the U.S. News and World Report in 1984, where in fact they called the same object. NASA then changes to, now they're calling it a brown dwarf star. It's in print in all the newspapers. And I showed it to her and she goes, well, that's interesting too. I said, but you've never heard of it. She said, no, we never talk about it. I don't know anything about it. And I couldn't get near the subject again. Every time I tried to bring it up, I was diverted. I thought that was most interesting. And then we talked earlier in the show about all these astronomers. I just emailed her a copy of this Part 1, Why Are They Murdering Astronomers thing from John DiNardo, and I'm waiting to get her reaction to it.
And I have that posted on my website, too, Dr. Rand. I know exactly what you're talking about. I had John DiNardo on, several weeks ago. He was on the program. Great guy.
Bright.
Yes,
very bright guy. Very bright. All right. Do we still have our children with us?
Yeah, we're still here.
Yes, we do.
Well, we
Mike,
do. Wow.
Listen,
did I finally answer the question for you?
Yeah, that was very good. And we can you have other callers, Mike?
Well, no, I don't have anybody else who wants to get on right now, but I do have to take a break. I'm well overdue on it.
Well, we'll go ahead and drop it. We'll go ahead and drop and listen to you guys. And everybody here, say bye, Mike, and bye. Thank you, Dr. Lund. Go ahead, loud. So
My pleasure, everybody. And just remember, the pursuit of knowledge is critical to your intellectual and spiritual developments. So when we talk about things like we have tonight, at least take them seriously enough for you to check it out. Our website, write this down, everybody, www.returnofplanetx.com. There's a hyphen between the T and the X. Our website will keep you busy for several hours. I've got some great wallpapers for your computers. I've got a science section. I've got videos. You can meet my kitty cats. I'm very real. and I've written a book which, if you guys want to, you can get on Kindle, go through Amazon.com, or write to me at my website, and we'll work something out for you guys in China, okay?
Well, Doc, I'll email you. I'd like to get you on my show too, Tough Reality.
I'd love to. My email is skipper@att.net. Skipper, just like the word, at att.net.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, everybody, and we'll
Good
talk
night,
to you guys
everybody.
later in China.
God bless you all.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
God bless
Bye-bye.
each and every one of you. Thank you for the call, Mike. And Dr. Rand, hang on there with us for a moment. We're going to get this break done with Dr. Jason Q. Rand. And his website is www.returnofplanetx.com. I believe there's a hyphen in there. He'll tell you about that. His book, The Return of Planet X. He's been working on this for a very long time, and he's been informing us for a very long time, and I do appreciate it. Make sure you get over to www.latenightinthemidlands.com. Become a member, be informed, but by all means, inform others. And the article he's talking about John DiNardo, I do have that posted in the latest news on latenightinthemidlands.com, so you can click there. John DiNardo sends me a lot of information, and, I asked him if I had permission when he sends me this information to post it, and he told me absolutely, which I'm glad, there's some people who are stubborn about that, like especially these mainstream sites. If once in a while they put something out there that you actually think is true and want to spread, they don't want you to. It's like, no, send them here. It reminds me of a certain radio network that I used to be with. They just want the traffic. They don't care about getting the word out and informing the people. And that's not how we roll here. We're just trying to get the truth out, trying to explore, research, and by all means expand the mind. So we bring the best guests with the best information to Late Night in the Midlands for you. And not just Late Night in the Midlands. We're like the Justice League here now. I mean, with the show lineups that we have, just a tremendous amount of information comes over this network, and we can continue doing that with your help. So please, by all means, if you have the means, donate to latenightinthemidlands.com on the right-hand side. That keeps us alive. We've been here 5 years, and we're going to keep doing what we do as long as you continue to support us. And I thank you for that. So we're going to get back to it here because I don't want to take up too much time. Dr. Rand, my guest, Dr. Rand, we are back, and isn't that nice? Got a call from a class in China.
Yes, that was great. That was great fun.
Yeah, it's good to see that there's teachers at least somewhere in the world.
Absolutely.
Bringing this to the attention.
And they ask such good questions.
Oh, I know.
All right.
I know, fantastic. But we got about 20 minutes, Dr. Rand.
All right.
So wherever you'd like to take us.
I want to talk about something that happened on October 12th, 2012, just less than a month ago. Okay. Over the past, dozen years, there's been a huge increase of asteroid flybys. It's off the chart.
Oh, I know.
Every year it's been going up. I mean, these are all, you can check all this stuff out. Anyway, we just had a near-miss asteroid event, and it was called asteroid TC4. Asteroid TC4. That's what it was called. Okay. So, on Friday, October 12th, 2012, this 10-story high, 100-foot-long space rock was estimated to be 56 feet wide, 17 meters, and this huge piece of junk from space passed between the moon and the Earth by only 59,000 miles, which is 95,000 kilometers. This distance is only 1/4 the lunar distance from our planet. And now here, listen to this. This object was traveling in a counterclockwise motion, it was traveling at us at 4 miles per second. 4 miles. Or 8 times the speed of a high-powered rifle bullet. I'm quoting from a press release that I'm getting ready to release. If this asteroid, TC4, would have hit Earth, its devastation would leave a huge crater, 75 miles wide and thousands of feet deep. In other words, it would have obliterated anything for 75 miles around. Would take out a city like New York. It's gone. The city's gone. Just, it's rubble. Okay. Thousands of feet deep. If it hit an ocean, multiple tsunamis, hundreds of feet high, most traveling hundreds of miles per hour, would race away in many directions, wreaking global havoc along their pathways around our planet. Now, I believe that this incoming outgoing brown dwarf star pushes and pulls a huge space debris field, including asteroids, smaller rocks, comets, gases, and as it revisits the solar system, and this explanation would then account for the dramatic increase of recent near-Earth misses of errant space debris, such as asteroid TC4. Now, this object was only discovered less than 2 weeks ago, on October 4th, and it was observed by an observatory in the Canary Islands, just off the west coast of Africa. Here's the question. If this event actually happened, which it did, why haven't we heard anything about this in the mainstream media? No.
I can answer that.
Would you please? No, go ahead. Let us have it.
Well, because the mainstream media is 100% totally controlled by the elite, and they're not going to report anything that the elite do not want out there.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
This has been kind of a downer night for all these nasty predictions. So what I want to do is, I want to take about 3 minutes, and I want to read to you the present state of our planet on Friday night, tonight, as we are together. Okay? So everybody out there, if you kids in China are still listening, I hope you are, I want you to listen. I'm going to tell you all the things that are happening to the planet all simultaneously. I'm going to read a whole list. Understand there's not this one, this one, this one, and that one. Everything I'm reading is happening right now. All of it. Simultaneously. Somewhere on the planet. Okay? This is very scary. Okay. Okay. Michael, give us our date. It's Friday night. Go ahead.
It is Friday night. It's November 2nd. I had to look.
Okay, and what time is it there in South Carolina?
I have 11:42 Eastern Time.
Okay. That's our marker point. That's our marker point. As of tonight, at this moment, Earth's calendar date is now in the fall of 2012. Okay? As such, we find our fragile blue planet world in a dire crisis. Consider these facts. 1. The reality of our overpopulation, global warming and cooling, a badly depleted ozone layer, rainforest devastation, uncontrollable devastations, wildfires, hurricanes, typhoons, storms, tornadoes, mass global flooding, tsunamis and droughts, Arctic and Antarctic meltdowns, mass extinctions of multiple plant and wildlife species, widespread famines, deadly diseases are breaking out. We have outbreaks of animal and human origin, viruses, ever-increasing worldwide earthquakes, and volcanic activity. Whew. All of that I just read is all happening right now, somewhere on the planet, in ever-increasing volumes. Now, here's the climax point. All of which of the above are collectively taking a heavy toll on human, plant, and animal life, not to mention billions upon billions of dollars in global property damage, like just happened in the Northeast, lost wages, the economy, and major consumer disruptions to the everyday needs of its global citizens. What's happened in the Northeast is reverberating now throughout the planet in various aspects. It hit the airline industry. It hit the banking industry. It's like a ripple effect, you see? It's just the nature of our global economy. Now, Mother Nature takes no prisoners. She gives no quarter, and she remains uncontrollable. Our planet's normal 2012 weather patterns are now out of control and continue deteriorating. We just saw that with what happened in the Northeast. Now, we still have one more month to go. No, not quite. We still have about 26 days left before the end of the hurricane season. There are some things brewing, but I wouldn't worry right now. However, there's another storm of another nature threatening the Northeast as we speak tonight, if you can believe that. Another very devastating storm, not from the ocean. Now, we ask, when will all this end, and why us? Well, I'm not sure when it's going to end. I've been hoping it would have ended 2-3 years ago. Why us? Actually, we may be getting away with less than things that are going to happen in other parts of the world, you see. We haven't had a big, huge loss of life yet, thank goodness. A major earthquake, let's say in the town of Tokyo, or let's say Beijing, would kill 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 20, 50,000 people. You see? So, I'm not saying what happened to us is good, but let us consider that things could be a lot worse around the planet in the next 12 to 16 months. Whoever gets into the White House is going to have his and her and them's hands full with natural disasters. Aside from everything else, the health care thing and all these issues, I'm sure they got legislation. My guess is that the House of Representatives probably has 30, 40, 50, 60, maybe 100 bills already drafted, ready for someone's signature. That's my guess. Okay.
No, probably.
Now, I really want to say just one thing political tonight. It's not going to gang up on anybody. The decisions you make in the next 72 hours or so are going to be critical for your personal welfare, health, and survival, as well as all of your loved ones and your pets, as well as your dollars, your savings, your automobile, and your property. It's that serious. It's winner take all. Okay? If it doesn't go the way I think most of America wants it to go, there's going to be a very difficult time, period, for everyone. If it does go the way most people, I believe, want it to go, there could be a quick start right from that first day, and there'll probably be some obstacles. But my guess, I want to leave on a positive note, if the will of the people prevail, this country will be kick-started within 90 to 120 days. You will see a complete reversal of spirit and effort and everything if the people's wishes are fulfilled. Okay? That's not diplomatic, Michael. Don't I get a medal for that? Or something?
You should. And Obama got a Nobel Peace Prize.
Well, that's true, too. Notice I didn't mention anybody's name, did I?
Right.
Okay. Well, I think you all know what I mean by the will of the people. If it's the will of the people that it goes the other way, that's the will of the people. What are you going to do? That's why we say we live in a democracy. Well, we're supposed to be in a democracy. Anyway, whatever you do Tuesday night, do it with conscience and do it with wisdom and knowledge of the issues. Do it by understanding who it is you're placing trust in and for what reasons. It's not just you, it's your family, immediate, long range, pets, canaries, fish, snakes, whatever. And what's more important is that it's your personal future. You're the one that's going to say, what did I do? Or you'll say, man, am I glad I did what I did. Because it's that important, not only for the United States of America, everybody, but for the entire freaking world, okay? Don't you think they aren't wondering what's happening? Don't you think for 1 minute that Yeltsin, the old former president of course he's dead, would be turning over in his grave right now? And don't you think Putin is wondering exactly how this hammer is going to fall? We live at a very exciting time, everybody. These are cosmic times. The cosmic clock is ticking. We are only seconds before midnight on the cosmic clock. So I think between now and the election and then 13, 14, maybe even 15, could be very, very rocky, could be very well organized, and hopefully leadership will prevail because we've got some really rocky times ahead of us. So everybody pray on it, do the right thing, and get out. Join me, Michael. Get out and what, Michael? Vote. Please.
No, absolutely. I think everybody should
I don't
vote.
care if you have to bum a ride or thumb a ride or call a cab. Please don't fail to vote. Because if you do, you're giving your vote away. Shame on you. No, I don't mean that nasty. But every one of us has an obligation and a right and a privilege to cast a ballot. Whomever you vote for, I'll say it that way. Just vote. And you can't come back and say, oh man, I should have thought about that. All right? So on that note, everybody, thanks for putting up with us. Michael, thanks for putting up with us.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Rand. I appreciate